And vinyl community, it's me, JC. The record store day list dropped. And our grails are not on it, guys. But it's better than some lists in the past. We still have some picture discs that we'll go into. This is just going to be an overview, a highlights video, talking about some of the cool releases. Then every week I'll do a deeper dive. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, because I know I have about 1,000 new subs, normally what I do, if you look at my record store day videos of the past, when I do a deep dive, is I include the suggested retail price. So every week I'll release a video, maybe highlighting 10 releases with the suggested retail price once I get that list sent over to me. So let's dive into this. And we're just going to dive into some albums that I think are really cool. And first is going to be the Alice in Chains, We Die Young. This is going to be an EP. And it's going to have 4 tracks on, actually 3 tracks. It's got We Die Young, It Ain't Like That, and Killing Yourself. This was originally released in 1990 as a promo only. So never been released to the general public. So very cool. Unfortunately, it's not the record store day release that we really wanted from Alice in Chains, which is the Tripod album. But maybe that means it'll get a worldwide release and be much easier to get, which would be really cool. Allman Brothers has a live album coming up called Cream of the Crop 2003. I believe that it's all just, scattered songs. It's not like one particular concert. It's like songs from different concerts in that 2003 tour, which is pretty cool. Bad Company with a 1979 live album. This one is going to be a 2 LP. It's put out by Rhino, so it should be pretty good. No cover art on it or anything yet, but 3,000 copies of that. Didn't say it at first, but the Alice in Chains is going to have, it's a 12-inch vinyl, and it's got 14,000 copies. Shouldn't have a hard time getting that one, which is pretty cool. Man, that's crazy. 14,000. The world has changed, my friend. Chet Baker live in Paris, 1983, 1984 live recordings. This is going to be a 3 LP. It's going to be 2,500. It is a record store day first. So I would think that, if you're not totally need that, you're probably going to have an opportunity to get it later on down the road. Charlie Benante, the drummer of Anthrax, has a LP, only 1,500 copies, put out by Megaforce, and it's called Moving Pictures, and it's like all Rush songs. So it's got Subdivisions and YYZ. It's really cool, like 4 or 5 Rush songs on it. So pretty cool from Charlie Benante, and obviously it's going to be an all-star lineup. We'll have to get the details when we do the deeper dive on who's playing with them with those Rush songs. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, In My Prime, is coming out. That's going to be a 2 LP, 1,500 copies of that, which is pretty cool. Love Art Blakey. Blondie has the Sunday Girl EP coming out. This is going to be 2 7-inches, put out by Capitol, 3,000 copies, and it's basically different versions of her song Sunday Girl from Blondie. I know my main man Gary is a huge Blondie fan, so Gary, go get that. The Blue Stingrays has a 7-inch coming out, which that is Mike Campbell's surf rock band. It's a 7-inch by Epitaph, 1,600 copies. It's called Grits and Eggs. So very cool about that. We already talked about the David Bowie. He's got two EPs coming out, the Toy EP, and then the other EP is called Brilliant Adventure. Brilliant Adventure is the one with the I'm Afraid of Americans original version, Johnny Downloader, and the Toy EP is different versions of songs that appeared on the album Toy, the Lost Album, which is really cool. Mariah Carey with her #1's Greatest Hits is coming out. That's going to be a 2 LP, 7,000 copies, guys. Shouldn't be a hard time getting that one. That's what I would think. Here's one of my favorites. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Live Seeds. This is an album that I don't think it's ever pressed on vinyl. I love Nick Cave. I love him live so much more. It's a 2 LP, 2,700 copies. That's probably the #1 item on my list so far. Just going through the list quickly. Let's see what else we have here. And if I'm skipping your favorite band, it's, guys, I know I'm going to do a deeper dive. Last year I got some hate saying, you skipped this person and that was the best release. I apologize. The Cure, Pornography, Picture Disc, another Cure Picture Disc. Such a bummer. But there is a cool release coming out by the Cranberries, and it's Remembering Dolores, a tribute to Dolores, and it's kind of a selection from the Cranberries discography, not necessarily the greatest hits, but just some of the songs where she really shined. That's going to be a 2 LP. It's put out by Island Records, and there's 5,000 copies, so shouldn't be that difficult to get that one. So it should be good. The Damned, Strawberries, one of their classic albums, put them out by BMG, only 1,800 copies. I love The Damned. Fantastic band. So go get that, guys. Dave Davies with his album Kinked. And that's coming out by Green Amp Records, 1,500 copies. Then we have some picture discs. We have Def Leppard with High and Dry picture disc. Another Dio picture disc. I mean, all the Dio picture discs. But the Dio picture disc is a double dose of Donington, so it's some live tracks. Where High and Dry obviously is just the album High and Dry. The Devo is re-releasing Oh No, It's Devo, the 40th anniversary. There's going to be 44,000 of those, but it's on a picture disc, another picture disc. So I told you we're getting some picture discs here, guys, which is kind of a bummer. I wish they would change that. The big news, The Doors, 4 LP, LA Woman. Oh man, 11,000 copies. 2.5 hours of music and outtakes, and man, that's my favorite. Got to be my favorite Doors album. I mean, the first Doors album is close, but that is right up there. Echo and the Bunnymen has a B-sides and a live compilation coming out, which is really great. Bill Evans, every year we get a couple good Bill Evans collection. This year we're going to get Inner Spirit, a 1979 concert, and Morning Glory, a 1973 concert. So we're getting 2 Bill Evans releases. Both are double LPs. Both have 4,000 copies. So that will be great. The Foo Fighters, they have a 7-inch, almost 10,000 copies of this Foo Fighters. It's Making a Fire and Chasing Birds. So 2 kind of rare songs that they're releasing on Record Store Day. Peter Gabriel with Live Blood. This was a live album that he did, it was a couple years before the pandemic. It's a 3 LP. You can stream it. I've actually streamed its very unique versions of his songs. So go check it out first, because it's not your traditional Peter Gabriel. It's not going to sound like what the original sound like. He does completely different versions of it. But pretty cool that he's releasing that. Noel Gallagher and the High Flying Birds is releasing Magic Secrets. It's a 7-inch, 2,000 copies of that 7-inch by Noel Gallagher. Gojira, live in Brixton. It's a 2 LP full concert, 3,500 copies, which is really cool. Sometimes you don't get the full concert on these Record Store Day releases. LA Guns, this was supposed to be released on Black Friday. It got delayed. And this is Waking the Dead. Very, very rare album. 4,000 copies. I know everybody wants Cocked and Loaded, but that's not going to happen. Steve Hackett from Genesis with the Tokyo tapes. That's going to be a 3 LP, 1,500 copies of that. So very, very cool. Kirk Hammett with Portals. We talked about that earlier this week. That's Kirk Hammett's solo album. Very, very cool. It's only 4 tracks on that. Jazz Sabbath Volume 2. If you missed out on Jazz Sabbath Volume 1, that was incredible. Jazz Sabbath Volume 2 is coming. Definitely looking forward to that one. So that should be great. Elton John, the complete Tom Bell sessions. I know that that's not everybody's favorite era. Not everybody loves that Philadelphia sound. But if that is, it is a Record Store Day first. There's going to be 7,000 copies of that. So you may not have to rush out to get that one. Joan Jett and the Blackheart Acoustics. It's an acoustic LP. There's actually 6,500 copies of Joan Jett, so it shouldn't be extremely difficult to get. But I love Joan Jett, so that should be great. Judas Priest, Hero Hero, which is a compilation that's been out of print for years. It's a 2 LP, 4,700 copies. It does say Record Store Day first, so probably like Sad Wings of Destiny, you might see it re-released down the road, because that's exactly what happened with Sad Wings. But should still be pretty cool for Judas Priest collectors. We're really getting a lot of Judas Priest. The Kinks Waterloo Sunset EP. I love that song, Waterloo Sunset. It's such a great song. There's like 6 songs on that EP. It's a 12-inch, and there's 3,100 copies of that. So very cool. Madonna actually, Who's That Girl? It's like a 12-inch single. It's like our club mix or dance mix of that. But the reason why I mention it is Madonna records always go crazy on Record Store Day. She's got like such a loyal fan base. So I'm sure they'll scoop that up. Johnny Marr has a 12-inch, Spirit, Power, and Soul. 1,800 copies of that. Johnny Marr of the Smiths, obviously. Nicki Minaj, Beam Me Up Scotty has a 2 LP. 3,000 copies of that. Motorhead, Lost Tapes Volume 2. Last year we saw Lost Tapes Volume 1. These are generally live recordings. When they did the Volume 1, most people knew that probably Volume 2 would be somewhat down the road. And here we are. We got it. I wonder if we're going to see one of those now, periodically. Willie Nelson has a live album, live at Texas Opry 1974. So right in Willie's heyday. So that should be pretty great. We have 2 Night Rangers releases. One is Somewhere in California. Only 1,000 copies of that. So that would be really difficult to find. That's one of their later day studio albums. And also they have Wasted Time, which is that's a 7-inch, with 2 brand new tracks on that. So they have Somewhere in California and Wasted Time, 2 Night Rangers releases. The Offspring with the Greatest Hits, that is going to be on 7,000 copies. That's a Record Store Day first. Now, here's a big one. Pearl Jam, Live on 2 Legs. This is one of the first Pearl Jam live albums that they ever released. I cannot remember. I think it's been released on vinyl, but not for decades. 2 LP, 20,000 copies, guys. 20,000. I mean, they must have learned from Unplugged, because Unplugged sold out faster than you could ever imagine. But that is huge. Crazy. Just crazy, guys. The Pixies live album from 2004. That's their Coachella live set. So that's pretty cool. And Prince. I almost said The Prince. And Prince has The Gold Experience out. And this is going to be a 2 LP. It's 25,000 copies. Oh my God. It's this is the first full-length Prince album to be credited to the Symbol. So this is when he switched to the Symbol. And I cannot remember ever seeing that on vinyl. So there you go. That explains why there's 25,000 copies of the Prince album. The Ramones, the Sire Years. This is going to be a 7 LP Ramones box set with all of their albums from the Sire Years with on neon pink splatter. It says it's going to be pressed with rarities, and it's the first time it's being pressed on vinyl since its original release. 10,000 copies of that, so pretty cool for people that are missing those Ramones albums. They can scoop those up and complete their collection. The Red Hot Chili Peppers Unlimited Love, they have a special version of the double album on silver vinyl. So this is a variant, but it's the same album that you're going to be able to get in the store on Black Wax. When it does get released, it's a 2 LP, 5,000 copies of that. So pretty cool. The Replacements, what a great band the Replacements are. Unsuitable for Airplay, the Lost concert. It was a live concert that they did for a radio station that is going to be released. So cool. Keith Richards has a 2 cassette Life Talk is Cheap live at the Hollywood Palladium concert. So he's actually going the cassette route. Keith Richards is, which is very cool for those cassette collectors. Only 650 copies. Could you imagine how rare that is? 650 for a Rolling Stone collector. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I bet you the flippers are going to be out for that one, guys. The goddamn flippers. Excuse my bad language. Hate those people. All right, the Rolling Stones, More Hot Rocks. 50th anniversary, 2 LP, 7,200 copies of that. So cool. They released Hot Rocks last year. So here's more Hot Rocks. For those of you that picked that up last year and want to complete your collection, Slash Live at Studio 60. So this is a Slash live album. That's with Miles Kennedy. It's a 2 LP. 2,200 copies of that Slash live album. Ringo Starr, his Ringo the Fourth album is getting reissued by Friday Music. Only 1,000 copies on translucent orange and then translucent blue. So Ringo Starr, Beatles fame, his fourth solo album, 1,000 each by Friday Music. So pretty cool there. U2 has a 40th anniversary of their single Celebration, which has some studio outtakes. And then it's got the song Trash, Trampoline, and Party Girl. This is a 12-inch single, which has 7,500 copies that's being released. And one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite soundtracks, The Royal Tenenbaums, is actually going to be released on vinyl. Wes Anderson has a legacy of this. He did it with the Moonrise Kingdom. He did it last year with Life Aquatic, and now he's doing it with Royal Tenenbaums, which has some great songs by Elliott Smith, the Rolling Stones. It's a 2 LP, and it is going to be, they don't tell me how many copies, which is crazy. That's one of the only ones I don't have the total of copies. So very cool. So I know I didn't hit all the titles, guys, but I've also made a super long video. We'll join you with deeper dives every week with photos, with prices, and we'll get you all ready for Record Store Day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace, rock out. I love you guys. Bye.